But I must admit, Mamelodi Sundowns had a very good run. I think they gave the world the taste of South African football, and they represented Africa very well.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And I heard rumors that Trabzonspor from Turkey is looking at signing Ribeiro.
That's what we always do anyway. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Diski Preview Show as we continue to cover the big games happening in the US of A. We know by now, Mamelodi Sundowns out. Mr. Mo.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. E.
Yes, I'm Mr. Mo.
Welcome to the show.
No, thank you, Mr. E. Thank you.
Yeah.
No. Times are tough.
Yeah, pretty tough, man.
Bunzima.
Yeah.
Asakam no kama.
Hey, we hasn't.
No, it's bad.
Yeah, but I must admit, Mamelodi Sundowns had a very good run. I think they gave the world the taste of South African football, and they represented Africa very well.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And I heard rumors that Trabzonspor from Turkey is looking at signing Ribeiro.
Ribeiro, everybody wants Ribeiro.
So, hey.
But do you think Mamelodi Sundowns will be able to release him? Because I think it's one of those influential players that drive Mamelodi Sundowns.
Mr. E, it's a twofold question.
Yeah.
Number one is, not only is the club ready to release him, does the player feel like he should leave?
He should leave at this time.
Because at this point in time, he probably feels that he's achieved everything he can achieve in Africa.
Yeah.
Only thing he could be staying for is a possible opportunity to win the CAF Champions League. But domestically, he's won the league twice now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Let's see. Let's wait and find out. Today we're going to be taking a look at the quarterfinals. There were 32 teams. Now we have gone down from 32 teams to the last 8. And some of the big European teams are there. We've got Bayern Munich. We've got Real Madrid. Dortmund is there. Chelsea, I'm going to say is a big team. Well, let's find out. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be taking a look at the 4 big games that will be playing over the weekend. You are still watching the Diski Preview Show as we continue to cover the big games. It's Fluminense in the quarterfinals at the expense of Mamelodi Sundowns. And they'll be going head-to-head with Al-Hilal, another giant slayer. What's your take on that, Mr. Mo?
Mr. E, people talk about Al-Hilal.
Yeah.
As if they're the giant slayers.
Al-Hilal, you know?
Yeah. So people talk about Al-Hilal as if they're a small team, they're a fluke, they're a joke. Not to say that they are a joke, but people are speaking of them as if they're a small team.
Yeah.
I think those people have never looked at the roster that they have there, the lineup that they have there. I mean, Ruben Neves is there. They've got Koulibaly. They've got Bono. You understand? So they've got a very stacked team, and all those players have European experience. So a European badge, European players doesn't scare them. I think the main thing is that if they didn't beat Manchester City, a lot of people will be like, this went according to plan. But for those who are well equipped to know what Al-Hilal is all about, they would have known that this is the team that in Saudi Arabia has kept Ronaldo from winning titles, both domestically and on the continent, because they've been quite amazing. If you remember, the season that got them to this point was the season when Mitrovic was on fire. Left England, went to Saudi, was still on fire, and they had a good core of team players. I mean, Ruben Neves didn't leave Wolves in a bad time in his career. Ruben Neves left Wolves at the height of his career when everybody was saying he's going to Liverpool, he's going to Chelsea, he's going to Arsenal. Then all of a sudden he went to South America. Bono, same thing. Bono was an up-and-coming goalkeeper. I mean, he's Morocco's number 1, if I'm not mistaken. You talk about Koulibaly. He is the captain. He was the captain alongside Sadio Mane of Senegal. So
and he had a fantastic run at the Africa Cup of Nations.
100%. So you look at a team with a core of players that come from European football, not necessarily them being European, but they come from European football. They have European football experience. And the same can be said for Fluminense, because who's captaining them from the back? Thiago Silva, Champions League winner, UEFA Champions League winner.
At that age. But he's a
age.
goalkeeper anyway.
But experience is experience, Mr. E. Sometimes you need someone who can calm the players down and tell them
guidance.
Exactly. Because what is the difference between Thiago Silva playing for Chelsea against these teams, playing for PSG against these teams? He's well experienced. He can be the voice.
They need that experience.
He can be the voice in the changing room that says, guys, relax. The reality is that these guys are not as good as they think. They're not as good as we think. Come down, let's play our football. Same thing with Al-Hilal. They wanted to prove a point that, listen, we are still as good as we said.
And they went on to prove it.
And they proved it.
So how did you feel? Because in one of the episodes that we had here when we were going through, I think it was the first round of 32, you said Manchester City was going to go all the way and actually win the FIFA Club World Cup. But there we are. We're in the quarterfinals. No Manchester City to be seen.
No Sundowns.
Well, it was expected.
Say no Sundowns.
It was expected. Yeah, I think.
Mr. E, I think the saddest thing is I misdiagnosed how bad the situation is at City at the moment. Seeing that performance from Rodri, I think I had the same mentality as all the Manchester City fans, thinking that Rodri was going to come back. And when he does come back, you rise to the occasion. But having seen what I saw, I think it's honestly at that place where we can just say that it's not gonna turn around anytime soon for Manchester City. Yeah,
most certainly doesn't look like it's gonna happen that way. So what would be your predictions in this game here, Fluminense and Al-Hilal? I think Fluminense, well, they do seem to be playing a very good type of football, but you think they'll be able to march on to the semi-finals?
They're playing a good brand of football, but at the same time, they're going to have a difficult task against the team from Saudi Arabia. So I think that's going to be the match to watch. But also, one thing I wanted to say, it proves one thing that we were discussing earlier on in the season, that the group that Sundowns was in was actually a group of death. Because if you look at all the other teams have left from the competition, but that group F winner and runner-up are still in the competition in the quarterfinals. So Fluminense, Dortmund did it the long way. They're now here. And I think that they're going to surprise many people going into this round of fixtures.
Okay, so what is the prediction for Fluminense versus Al-Hilal?
I don't want to give predictions anymore after what happened. But if I have to.
But you need to assist us. So that we can come at a conclusion on how things are going to pan out in this FIFA Club World Cup. Because I understand, I can see that the big guns are still there.
If I had to, Mr. Yeah, I'd give it to Fluminense.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow, fantastic.
I think. And also don't forget, they have the added advantage of being in the middle of their season. So
they're still active right now.
They're still active right now.
Okay, those are the predictions of more for our first featured game. Fluminense versus Al-Hilal is saying Fluminense is going to go through to the next round, which is the semi-finals. Now let's look at the other potentially explosive match that features Palmeiras and the big boys from England. That's Chelsea. What's your take on that?
Didn't you say that Chelsea is not a big team?
I had to speak to my executive producer. He told me to retract that. I retract that. Chelsea is a very big team. It will remain a very big team and will always be a very big team. I've corrected that.
All right, Mr. E, but they've not always been a very big team.
Yeah.
Don't forget they were okay, let's move on.
Okay.
But the reality is that
thank you for that, man.
Yeah, the reality with this fixture is that a lot of Chelsea fans they need something like this. They need to make it to the semi-finals of this competition. Not only for the financial boost, but it also looks very suspicious that they get an American owner.
Yeah.
And then 4 years later they're in the Club World Cup.
Yeah. In America. Yeah. This is America.
In the wise words of Nelson
This
Mandela.
is America.
In the wise words of Nelson Mandela, Konuk Mans.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reality is that Chelsea are the team that people will look to win this game.
Yeah.
But don't underestimate Palmeiras and what they're able to do. Like I said, they have the added advantage of being mid-season. So for them, the players are currently in, routine to be playing football week in, week out.
So active right now.
It does give them the advantage from that perspective. But the way Chelsea has carried themselves this season as well, in this competition particularly, has been exceptional. So it's going to be a good match to watch.
Why do I feel like Chelsea is in it for the money? Because they didn't have a very good season. But now, because there's lots and lots of money that stands to be won at the FIFA Club World Cup, a whopping $1 billion US dollars to be paid out to all the 32 teams.
Well, it's not a guaranteed figure, Mr. E. I mean, that figure only goes up every round you play. A draw is a certain amount of money, a win is a certain amount of money.
$1 billion is what is going to be paid out to all the 32 teams.
Is it?
Yeah. There's a total prize money in that pot of $1 billion US dollars. How much is the B2 bomber? 2 billion. So you'll be 1 billion short.
Mr. E, Where you getting these numbers? But yeah. Yeah, so from what I understood, Manchester City were going to make the most amount of money in the competition because they had a participation fee of 400 million.
Yeah.
So they were already halfway to that billion if that was the case. So there's a lot to be desired. I mean, Chelsea know for a fact that money won't fix their problems. They already spent big.
Yeah.
I mean, they've also had the whole financial fair play thing hit them when they had that huge academy, when they're signing players from every academy and then selling them out.
Yeah.
So for Chelsea, there's lessons learned, but I think the main thing for them has always been trying to make it work with this generation of players.
Yeah.
Because from the Lampard generation to the current generation, there's been generations of players in between that have not been able to live up to the Chelsea hype.
Yeah.
Except for the generation that won the Champions League with Thomas Tuchel and were able to qualify for this competition. But Thomas Tuchel is gone.
Yeah.
And the core of players he had, like I said, Koulibaly was playing at Napoli. I'm thinking of the goalkeeper from Senegal who was playing at Chelsea at the time. He's now also moved on to another club.
Yeah.
So he's moved on to Saudi Arabia as well. Thiago Silva also moved on. So you look at that core of players, they're gone now. Yeah. And the project at Chelsea, for a lot of people, has been a project where they've been asking the club to have more football guidance. So to say, listen, you guys
from the legends.
No, not from the legends, but from the ownership, because the ownership is coming with an American style structure to this.
Trying to fit it in.
Exactly. Yeah. So a lot of people have been saying you can't just buy success in football. You have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this. And the problem has been that they have not been able to, match the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City, Manchester United in the way they operate and the way they've been buying players.
Yeah.
I mean, just 2 seasons ago they bought every midfielder that anyone wanted.
Yeah.
So now the question is, the money is not the issue at Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's the footballing decisions that are the question at Chelsea.
That need to be attended to. Okay, so who do you think is going to pick up, or rather, who's going to go? Who do you think will go through to the next round between Palmeiras and Chelsea?
I think
you say a lot about Chelsea. I can see and I can actually.
Yeah.
Who are you going to pick up as the winner?
No. I'm giving it to Chelsea.
You're giving it to Chelsea.
I'm following the theme of someone said, why didn't they tell us there's going to be the Champions League in summer? Because in Europe it's summer for them. So they're saying, why didn't they tell us there's going to be the UEFA Champions League in summer? Which is it basically is how many Champions League fixtures you have there? Real Madrid versus Dortmund, PSG versus Bayern, and then Palmeiras versus Chelsea would be a FIFA Club World Cup fixture. But otherwise, the other half already is European.
It's European,
And if Inter and Juventus didn't get knocked out,
Yeah. And I see Germany already, currently has got 2 teams already there. Do you think maybe the FIFA Club World Cup might be making its way to Germany?
Mr. A, let's take a break. We'll come back to that one right there. My prediction is Chelsea.
Okay, so those are his predictions. He's saying Chelsea will go through to the final, and Fluminense will do so in the first 2 games. Let's quickly take a break. He needs to think about something that is eating him. See you after this.